Hello, dear star shines. Christina here with Rise of the Multidimensional Human. Welcome to today's Lunchtime Chats. The powers that be are brilliant, and they play both sides of the fence. Whole good and evil thing, okay, guys? It's all a lie, meant for you to take sides and go to battle with something. And as a sovereign being, we are needed more than ever to bring things forward, more options forward, what broader perspective forward, other ways of looking at things. Because there's this panic fear thing about 5G, like you don't have any influence or command or control of that system. And what I want to tell you is that you do. So let's start with the first piece, that whole new world order drama, the global domination of the shadow government, of the ruling elite, the shadow government. What are some of those other terms that people use? The empire, this whole thing. We got to talk about this because this is what people are waking out of. And this is really important. Yes, the growing pains may have, they may be painful, but it's essential that we wake up. And that's number one, we need to, those of us who are here, we're awake to questioning the narrative, and we hear a bunch of narratives and we don't allow them necessarily to define our reality, though we, still have contact with those belief systems and stuff like this. So what's happening is that the rest of the planet is waking up to that kind of sovereignty. And what has to happen is that they got to recognize that they're completely getting lied to on every level. And I mean that on every level, people are getting lied to. So the conspiracy theories are infiltrated and purposely putting out misinformation. The disclosure movement is infiltrated and purposely putting out misinformation. Mainstream media is pretty much worthless unless you want to just listen to inflammatory information, which actually is usually slanted information. It's not even accurate, right? There's all this drama going on. Besides the fact there's this lockdown going, and we can't live our lives and go about our everyday lives. And this is good news for people who don't like their lives that they're living, but it's bad news for those that really enjoy their lives that they're living. We have a spectrum here, right? So let's break some of this down. So in the group, I posted a few things. One was someone, dear Julie posted an interview that Ike did on the London Reel, and he was putting forward his truths around that, his research and stuff like this. Which I have to say, Ike does really great research. He absolutely does. I have a hard time listening to him because he is so inflamed and he has so much contempt. There's a lot of inflammation, let's say, in the way he delivers the information, which to me distorts the information, So it's like, I'm not a fan to listen to it, though his research is usually pretty solid. So that was posted. And then someone was asking if I knew about the David Wilcox take on the carnivorous virus and that whole thing. And anyway, so I did some more research, guys. I exposed myself to many more conspiracy theories. And if you listen to what Wilcox says and what Ike says, they are like opposite camps. Wilcox is like, the day is here, the mass arrests are here, liberation's here, right? And David Ike is like, this is the beginning of the end. AI's got you, and that whole thing. And there's lots of details in between, but some of the pieces is to Wilcox thing is that there's white hats against the dark force in the government, and there's things unfolding about that. There's mass arrests going on. The control is going back to the good guys. That's his narrative, and that the bad guys wanted all these other things, crashing the economy and mass enslavement, population reduction, blah 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 blah. Those of you who listen to him know, you guys totally know what I'm talking about. I'm just touching on a couple points here. This is like a huge, vast work that he has, and I'm just like, just skim in the top. So the other thing that he indicates is he talks a lot about the pedo ring and all that stuff. And then with Ike, he's all about going into the system of how everything is and pulling out stuff. So people are freaked out because both narratives are, kind of sketchy. It's like some of us believe in the white hat and the mass indictment kind of thing, which is the narrative that the shadow people, or not the shadow people, that the Trump administration advocates, or the people who are pro-Trump, they advocate that, that he's here to break the system. So, shake it up enough so these arrests can happen. And, here's the thing. Truth has an energy to it. You guys agree with me? Truth has an energy to it. And when you are speaking truth, or when you're hearing truth, okay, granted, there's many levels of truth, right? And I'll go over that when I activate the dimensions. But truth that is not distorted, when a person hears it, it's very likely they're going to recognize it, okay? And when that happens, truth brings profound clarity. It brings choices. It brings a broader perspective. Okay, there's like a liberating quality to the truth. Now, maybe not so liberating if you don't want to know the truth, which we get that, but that's not us, right? So when you are watching all these conspiracy things going on, I mean, there's a gazillion of them. Everybody's chiming in. I mean, everybody is chiming in. Even the Sasquatch got something to say, So everybody's chiming in, and if you're digesting all that information and you're lost and confused, and you're resonating in the fear programs. And what happens when we do that is that we actually lose our energy to it. So we're not recognizing the truth. We're staying in confusion, and we're losing our energy because there's a reel now going on. So all of those movements, the disclosure movement, the conspiracy movements, all that stuff has lies in the truth. And those lies isn't just an idea that's a lie. There's actually an energy invested in programming with those lies. So oh my gosh, David Icke, that thing, the event, the reaction, response, that whole thing, problem, solution, problem, reaction, solution, that game that he has outlined, and he's legendary for pointing that out, that is a real thing. And that is happening everywhere, not just these guys are good and those guys are bad. All of them are mixing and trading and explaining things with truth woven in with lies. That's why when you listen to them, you get one little, like an aha, but then it's quickly woven into some disempowerment game. And there's no longer an aha. It turns into something, something else, right? So this is really important, because it's for us, it might be obvious, but maybe for mainstreamers, it's not. To recognize when things are inflammatory, and don't let yourself buy into the reaction. Now, I have some hacks that I want to share with you guys about how to not buy into those reactions, because some of it is, like I said, there's truth woven into the lies, and part of us is responding to the truth aspect. All right. So like the truth aspect a lot of people respond to is that there's a dominating force on this planet that has an agenda for population reduction. Let's use that one. Now, I happen to know from personal experience that not just the bad guys are wishing for that. You guys know what I'm talking about? How many of you have not been in ceremony and had someone give prayers for the earth? Oh, may only the ones who care for you, Pachamama, may they the only ones that prevail. Who hasn't thrown that kind of prayer into the fire, right? So this good, bad, right, or wrong story, it's a lie, and it keeps you locked up in the loop. You're never going to find the truth if you're looking for who's right and who's wrong. You're never going to find the truth if you're looking for the real facts, okay? You're never going to find it. So let me go ahead and activate the axis before I go any further. So I want to make sure everybody's in an empowered place when we go on to some of these other levels. Hello, darlings. Hello, hello. We have our axis. Okay, so we activate this, and in the activation of this and the reclaiming of who we are in these different levels, that helps us, just this mere act helps us pull our energy from the drama, from the lies, okay, from that collective chaos that's happening right now. And like I said, this isn't about denying that a reality is so. This is more about you having your stability and your strength in the face of having to show up for this stuff. Okay, that's what this is about. Just like I talk about people, ask about how to get rid of fear. Don't try to get rid of fear. Instead, understand how you're controlled by it and do something else. Fear never goes away. It's just there's a point in time where you're no longer controllable by fear because even though you're afraid, you still take action on what you know is right for you to take action on. What is right inside here to take action on. That's really what that's about, and that's the courageous dreamers that I'm talking about with that I'm calling into the project. People who are not afraid to define who they are. They're not afraid to define their reality for themselves, independent of what's happening on the outside, or what in reference to some people might reference themselves as a light worker. Now there's some stereotypes they fall into. You know what I mean? that kind of thing starts happening. So say you're a light worker that happens to, I don't know, love making beer and having lots of sex. Now for a lot of light workers, they're going to be like, well, you can't be a light worker if you're doing that. You know what I mean? Because you're not keeping your temple pristine. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. Okay. That's how the control system works. It's like, soon as you start resonating with a particular piece, then if you don't accept the whole box that comes with it, then you're not that piece. And that has been used against humanity many times over. For example, what if I tell you, you're a master? You are a master. Now, immediately you're having thoughts like, that can't even freaking be possible. My life is a wreck. I'm right into a reel, because you can't sit and understand and let someone hold space and see you as a master, because it's just can't happen. It's against the belief system, stuff like this. But only thing is, here as star seeds, we're here to wake up to our mastery. Many of us are master dream weavers. Many of us are master healers, master artists, master, there are so many levels of mastery that these star seeds just come in with naturally, that, they only need the opportunity to be recognized for a moment, and then they can step into their power and go on, So really it's important, what I'm saying, to let go of all beliefs around what you think things are. This is where freedom comes, and this is where we start working at being more comfortable with the unknown, because a lot of people still suffer when things are in the unknown. Even those of us who have awoken to these other levels, we still have, there's still a little bit of, let's say, a hitch in the giddy up, so to speak, with when certain things go into the unknown. Okay, let me get back to activating. All right, so this axis is a model brought forward to this planet by a Cherokee record keeper named Barbara Handclough. She has a massive body of work. You can Google her. I love all of her books that I've ever read, and pretty much the ones that I stuck to were the stuff with astrology and, of course, Alchemy of the Nine Dimensions. And she did this other series. It was really cool. It was a series of 100 past life regressions that she put into a chronicles. And actually that process that she went through, doing all those past life regressions, was what she had to do to actually remove the barriers of bringing this work forward in the way that she did. So it was like downloaded to her. It was super intense. She had no reference in the collective, right? And luckily, her grandfather and her grandmother, trained her with alternate perceptions and stuff like this. So she had the tools. She knew where to reach out to unwind the blind spots and the resistance to bringing this kind of thing forward. So it took about a decade of work on her behalf to bring this model forward into the collective. And in 1999, she did that, and she worked with groups to anchor it further. So this is where that work comes from. You can Google it. I encourage you to check out the story. All right. So each of these is a lens that accesses a dimension. And each of these lenses and each of these dimensions are a live, breathing life force within your body. You don't, so here, this is the black hole in the center of Milky Way galaxy. So that means you do not actually need to leave your body for your consciousness to have contact and engagement with the actual being that is the Milky Way galaxy. Okay, so this is a profound teaching, and it's massively liberating. And at the same time, once you get past the galactic mind, it becomes completely obsolete. So I want to give everybody permission, embrace it, and when it's no longer relevant, let it go. It's totally fine. That's really what we need to do with all the teachings that are awakening and expanding our consciousness. All right, so 1D. This is the heart and mind of the Pachamama. This is your original agreement for being here as a soul incarnating on her within her and her realm. So you could be incarnating as fairies in the fairy realms. You could be incarnating as other beings in interdimensional places that are deep inside the earth. You can be incarnating as a human. You can be incarnating as a bird person, as an oblong skull person, as you can come as many different kinds of races on this planet according to that agreement. So that heart and mind of Pachamama she is the initial dreamer of this reality. So you came to the Pachamama, made an agreement to walk through her dream, walk through her unfolding reality. Okay, and that is this earth and all the realms within her. So this dream in its foundation is that of the Mother Earth. We said yes to that. We agreed to unfold within that. Now, this is so with all beings that come to this planet, whether they came as enslaved souls, or whether they came as invaders, like the whole reptilian game. They made an agreement with the Pachamama too. Okay, all the beings that come here made an agreement on some level with her to be in existence in these realms. This is something that's got to sink in, because a lot of people are really locked in helplessness because they don't understand where their power is. And really your power is with the Pachamama. That's where it starts. Your power, walking your purpose, all has to do with tuning into that and knowing that you belong here, tuning into that and reaffirming your yes for being that, for unfolding this. Okay. So you're saying yes, affirming that, yes, I am here in this dream. And I'm going to courageously dream my own dream within this dream. So your unfoldment throughout all time and space on this planet is unfolding a dream within the dream. Okay, that's the 1D. The songs of the Mother live within you. You can tune into the Pachamama, become instantly focused and grounded in your body by simply tuning into the rhythms of your body. So that's listening first to the breath, right? Then the heartbeat. And then you can feel these other pulses within your torso. You keep focusing on those pulses long enough, you're going to eventually get to the songs of the Pachamama. You're going to get to many other rhythms within those rhythms that can take you anywhere, quite literally anywhere in the universe. So this is a very powerful point for humans. Now, humans are taught that they're sinners, they don't belong here, and they kill everything that they touch. That is a program to shut you down from accessing and embracing your real power. Okay, you were never kicked out of the Garden of Eden. You were never a sinner. You were never any of those things, except this false narrative got implanted in you, and now you're like a magnificent starshine that thinks that they're a moon. Not realizing that you're actually generating your own reality from you. Okay, so the Psalms of the Mother within you. You can instantly be solid in your body, anchored, grounded, centered by tuning into those rhythms. Okay? So the rhythm will start here and then it will work down the body. All right, then you have the telluric realm. This is the language of atoms and molecules, the reality of atoms and molecules, cellular exchange, ionic exchanges, stuff like this. But it's also, and think about it like this. It's a language, it's unfolding, there's a blueprint that it's unfolding a reality of some sort, right? But I've just read this post today, which I thought was interesting. If you go by science and if you go by biology, I think they said it was 7% of your body is blood, okay? if you go by chemistry, up to 65-70% of your body is water. And if you go by quantum physics, 99.9% of your body is empty space. Okay. Now, how could this conflicting information all be true? It's because it's addressing different layers of reality. Okay. Now, atoms and molecules, there's a lot going on the anatomic level. Now that is directly connected to the blood. It's directly connected to the waters. Okay, so if you put all those pieces together and realizing they're actually a much bigger organism working in concert, then you get a better idea about the telluric realm. Okay, because that's what the telluric realm is. It's all those layers of reality working together in concert. Okay, this is how you can have a sun in the center of the earth. This is how you can have oceans in the center of the earth. This is how you have all the, the tunnels of the different ET beings. This is how you get the whole inner earth Agartha place. This is where you get the great crystal cities. Oh my gosh, so many of you have reported to me about going to these crystal cities in Dreamtime. So it's like there's all these things in the sun that are in the earth, okay, that is a very rich existence, and that same complexity and layering applies to our bodies as well, as so this is a natural way of working and engaging that our conscious mind doesn't have, yet it is such an influential part of our reality. Okay, so we have an autonomic nervous system. Our biosuit operates most of its systems on its own. We don't need to be consciously aware of it. Okay, so that's why it seems so far away from us, but really it's an integrated system. So you have, let's say you can go and have communication with the cells of your body. That means now that you've done that, you have that, you can go and communicate with other cells that are not in your body, with other people's bodies, or within a plant, or within the oceans, or within the dirt. Okay, so it's like, the skill set, once it's here, it's applicable everywhere. It's like a universal plugin. All right, and then we have 3D, which is all the constructs that we have here that creates this experience. So if we're living in the reality of Newtonian physics, what goes up must come down, right? When we have a job, we pay bills, we do this, unless we're born as an Aborigine or something in the middle of the jungles, and then then we're living the life in that mode. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of 3D experiences humans can come and have. Some more let's say pleasurable than others, right? And then we have our 4D, which is our thoughts, our collective mind, the who we think we are, the stories that we tell ourselves, whether they're the lie or the truth. Okay, that includes belief systems, whether they're a lie or the truth. All this stuff is in the 4D field. The 4D is pretty much the filtering system of how we perceive all other aspects of our reality. So, and that's because there's an imbalance, especially in the Western mind. In more indigenous cultures, it's not as imbalanced because they have the heart space, that's really active and open and integrated with everything around them. With Western culture, it's like we have a different value system and how we're brought up. So we value intellect much more than emotional intelligence. So all right, so getting back to 4D, how we integrate or interact with 4D is through something like this. So this is the earth, center of the earth. This is the telluric realm. This is our 3D reality, 4D canopy, right? So this is that lens that we're perceiving everything through. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these are the other dimensions. Now there's a lot more dimensions within this, right? But 9 is the basic. 9 is the basic that you have to have a handle on, okay? So 5D is the Akasha. It's the story of the soul's journey. It's the perception of infinite unfoldment. Now, those of you who work with Akashic records, you know how powerful it is to work with 5D because you can actually heal the present by unraveling wounding from the past, or you can heal the future by unraveling a wounding that is in the moment. There's stuff like this. It's like, as soon as you go into that 5D field, linear space and time does not exist. It's a completely different, it's a different relationship to time. Time is more of a spiral or cyclical kind of thing, okay? Now, this has been infiltrated too, and I'll talk about that as I get going. All right, so then we have our, so this is the 4D and that canopy filtering all these higher level frequencies. Our 5D is the Akasha, the doorway to perceiving. This is through the heart. This is our gateway into timelessness. So the first initiation is getting past who you think you are and stepping into timelessness. So now you are letting go of the idea of who you think you are, the face that you wear, and you're entertaining something else. Okay, this is the idea with journeying. You shed who you are, and then you journey with your pure essence instead. And when you can journey with your pure essence, you're going to get much clearer information than if you're journeying with who you think you are, because all the information that you come across will be filtered through that, and you won't be able to go into the unknown, because who you think you are is everything you know, right? It's all about that. You are this, I know I'm that. And the cool thing about those, and the more of those healing experiences you have, you start to realize that you're just showing up for that healing experience. That it's like that moment was already decided upon in this other realm, this other part of who we are. Okay, so that's where big liberation comes in your practice. Let me tell you, then there's no pressure about being prepared or anything like that. You understand the kind of how to hold your space and being in the moment and being in your center like this. All right, still getting to. All right, so we have our Akashic Field. We see this through the heart lens, and it's constructs of belief systems, vows, stuff like this. So you ever told somebody that you will love them forever and you meant it with all of your being? So even if in the next incarnational experience, like, they're a total slime ball with a million warts and is not a good person, that vow is still in action. You know what I mean? So you're still living out that vow, even though now it's not really the relationship that you had when you made the vow, So stuff like that happens in our Akasha all the time. So as you clean this out, things get, life force energy becomes more free flowing in your world. All right, then we have the 6D, which is the actual blueprint of your consciousness as it expands through the Milky Way galaxy and comes back again. So this is like all shape that the cellular world holds is mapped out by this blueprint. So this blueprint is an expression of your soul song. Your soul song is the actual tone that is you, as you emerge out of oneness. Okay, so it's like you emerge out of a song as a song, and the tone creates the shape, which creates the journey. Okay, like this. So this is going down in dimension. The consciousness is getting denser, denser. All right, and then that oneness that you emerged out of, the 8D, and then the 9D, which is a black hole in the central Milky Way galaxy, or depending on what Earth you're walking on, the white hole. Okay, we'll dive down that one way later. We don't need to talk about that, because I want to keep this into engaging the rhetoric and the lies and the chaos of the human dimensions right now. So we exist on all these dimensions at once, whether we know it or not. So this is where people realize all these different manifestation techniques and stuff like that, because they're learning how to tap into these other levels of who they are. And they find out, oh, it's really powerful when you start creating from these other levels of who you are, and you're not bound to this lens of who you think you are. Because who you think you are means that what you want is defined by what others think is success. Okay, you're no longer self-referencing. You're who you think you are. It's all about who you are in the world, right? What other people think about you, how safe you are or not safe you are, la 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 la. It's a great big game. So everybody's confused because they're getting lied to in every angle. And there's truth woven in with the lies, which is how it works. And people are very fearful about the new world order, because this whole global shutdown could happen because of a lie, right? So here's what I got to say about this. Everything that we see going on right now is an unfoldment of a shift that has already happened inside of us, okay? So if you are worried about tyranny happening by our government, you need to actually bring that into, look at that relationship that you have with that energy, and then go inside and align or call forward, dream into being what sacred government would look like. what would, you know what I mean? You're actually bringing from the primordial infinity, right? And you're bringing it through these realms and into the 3D. But you have to do that. No one else can do that. No one can do that for you. We did an activation a while ago called Sacred Rain. And it was all about sitting in meditation and envisioning what a sacred government would look like, what a government that was for the better, that truly functioned for the betterment of its people. What would that look like? Now, we can't wait for someone else to invent it. We need to bring that forward. We bring that forward. We digest that energy. We bring it into the here and now by letting it integrate with our bodies, because our bodies is also the telluric realm of the earth, okay? So once it's happening there on that level, it's just a matter of time for it to unfold here. Because so those of you who have been listening to this talk for a while, remember, I'm drawing this as an axis, but these are nesting dolls of reality that go inside of each other. The outer affects the inner and vice versa, okay? So all of these nesting dolls is what holds this reality together. If you were missing any one of these pieces, you could not have this reality happening right here. So these are fundamental building blocks of what we are experiencing in the here and now, which means this government, this problem, it didn't originate here. This is the expression of it. That's what we're seeing before our eyes, but it actually started way over here somewhere, right? Okay, now let me pause and check in where people are at. So when you're spending all this time, because I had to do this too, I'm getting into the life hack now. This is how you really start to manage yourself, right? People are up in arms. I have a neighbor. I like her. She's really sweet. She's got a great dog. She's wearing the face mask, the gloves. I mean, she's like full on armor every time she leaves her house, right? Fear. She is totally paralyzed with fear because of all the narrative. Now, I cannot say, hey, listen, you're a multidimensional being. Don't you know that? La, 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 la. No, I can't say that to her. But instead, I acknowledge her and that she's feeling really off because of all this. So it's not like you have to impress the truth on everybody around you. It's about holding the truth in the here and now with you, and where there's moments to speak it and it's harmonious, great, do that. Or compassionate, great, do that. But if it's not harmonious, don't try to convince people, because that's you pushing your energy onto that person, which they're already lost and confused. So your energy is going to feel like an attack. They're not going to feel like you're liberating them. They're going to feel like you're attacking them, and they're going to act like that. You're attacking them, right? And then now you become a victim because you see how the cycle goes. So it's what matters is that everybody else sees the truth. It's that you see the truth and you're radiating that you're ripple affecting that out into your surroundings. Okay. So when you spend time engaging in these conspiracy theories, which, now that I've done that, there's some stuff that's kind of interesting. You have to make sure that you are spending an equal amount of time resetting yourself from that, resourcing yourself. So you're back into this reality again. Okay. And so it's like you're resourced, you're strong in this reality. So now you can go into the collective, see things with a different perspective, take into the information, meet the energy where it's at, do all your stuff. And then don't let yourself just hang out there. Bring yourself back home. That's the trick to not getting lost in the chaos. You always bring yourself home. That's the priority. Now, some people feel bad about being strong and in their center when everybody else is, in chaos. And that's a program. Don't feel bad. And if anything, someone's going to notice that you're not in the same program as everybody else. Now, you don't need to give them the whole download of your philosophy, but you can just give them a one-liner of why you're at peace. And they'll see that and they're going to remember that. And if it's important, their higher levels are going to remember that and remind them later on in their day or their week or whatever of seeing you, of experiencing you. Okay, bring yourself home. Okay, so in the leadership challenge that I did, there was a whole day spent on resourcing, right? And then there was another day on exercising the keys of liberating yourself. Coming back home is a feeling of love and gratitude. It's a deep feeling of love and feeling gratitude for just being. That's what it's like to have that coming home feeling. Now you may have that coming home feeling, going into the arms of a beloved, or when you do chant a certain mantra that you really love, or when you're walking in the forest, or standing in the energy of a tree. A lot of people have it like that. I have it a lot in nature too. So that's coming home. That's resetting yourself to navigating who you are, where you are in the here and now. All this new world order stuff, this is stuff that's not deadly right now, probably not tomorrow or the day after that. So you don't even need to worry about it until until that bridge comes. Okay. So that's one way to it's something you can tell yourself to unplug if you're really stuck in the reel. The powers that be are brilliant, and they play both sides of the fence. Okay, they play the game on both sides of the fence. So if you're like anti-Lucifer, they're all blah 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 blah, and God is the only way, you're just as lost as the person who's following Lucifer. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. It's because God relationship is a lie too. We're lied about this. We have stories in here about God that are total bait and switches. They give us a little bit of love, a little bit of bliss juice, but it comes at a price. We have to always worship, or we have to make sure we're offering up this energy and that energy. It's like, as long as you're worshiping and venerating this being, you're going to be given blessings. Not even realizing that you are the powerful being in that scenario, not the one you're worshiping. They become powerful because you're making them powerful. Okay. So what we need to understand, that this oneness creator level being, we are all embraced in that unconditionally. It doesn't matter if you're a terrible person. It doesn't matter if you're a wonderful person. It doesn't matter if you're, it doesn't matter if you're fucking Mars. You can be the planet Mars. All that is presence is with you. You are embraced by all of that. You see what I'm saying? It's not reduced to only those that qualify. All that is for everything. It's a river that flows through everything. So Hitler, though we don't want to admit that, we want to think that he got punished or had some kind of karma. He didn't. He died, went on to his next mission. Boom, that's it. Okay, there you go. That's painful, but we got to understand there is no good, bad, right, or wrong. We have been tricked. We have been tricked into splitting everything like that. And then what happens, that means conflict. We're going to go to war because you don't have the same God. We're going to go to war because you don't believe like we do. Okay? The most warring religions on this planet are Christians, Jews, and Muslims. Those are the three biggest warring factions this planet has ever seen. And the crazy thing is that they all have the same fucking book. The Old Testament, the Torah, and the first few chapters, the first couple books of the Quran. All the freaking same creation story. Everybody's a sinner. Everybody did the, you see what I'm saying? It's like, and here we have people investing all of their lives into that. They're investing their love, their passion, their tears into this. And that's the part that's the saddest of all, because these are good people that love God. And they're pouring everything. They're following the rules so they can be loved and let into heaven, right? And it's a lie. I mean, yeah, that's my soapbox about the whole good and evil thing. Okay, guys, it's all a lie meant for you to take sides and go to battle with something. As soon as you go into battle with anything, you have already lost the war. This is the big trick to working with unraveling dark forces. As soon as there's an enemy, you're screwed. You can't have enemies. You can't have any enemies. You can't have any need for an enemy to know yourself on these levels. If you need to be right, or if you need to have an enemy, or there has to be a God or whatever, you're not getting past the canopy. You're staying right here. This is where you're investing your energy. Okay. And yeah, you're going to affect reality. Absolutely. You're a powerful creator being. So you can create whatever reality you want to create. It's your prerogative, and you're not going to go to hell for it. Maybe that'll help you feel better. All right. Okay. I guess no more comments. There's got to be comments, guys. If someone can screenshot me some comments, that would be great. Thank you. All right, so this 5G thing, we got to go through this because this is something that's freaking people out. So Ike and all that trauma that he was bringing forward, talking about, one of the things that really jumped out at me is the perception of 5G creating a sub-reality. As soon as he said that, I knew that was true. And I realized I've actually talked about this in past chats, and this is what I want to talk about with you guys, because there's this panic fear thing about 5G, like you don't have any influence or command or control of that system. And what I want to tell you is that you do, because there is nothing that is not of creation. There's nothing that is not God. Even AI is of creation. It's made up of creation. AI was granted sentience long, long time ago. Okay, so this whole AI game that's being brought forward, it's being fear-mongered. It's being presented in a way that you better look out. You know, all this stuff. And the forced vaccinations with the microchipping. I have really bad news for you guys. Y'all have already been infused with nanites. It happened a long time ago, so it's already in you. See, I had to tell you this before I said that. It's already in you, and how do you counteract that? Is by you standing your sovereignty. That means you have to practice every day, multiple times a day, probably, to reclaim yourself, claim your body, claim your mental field. Claim your mental field, your thoughts, to serve just only your essence, and that's your soul and your essence, and that is it. You claim your mental field with your energy. You claim your emotional field with your energy. I'm in charge of my emotional field. My emotional field serves me, my essence. My emotional field doesn't serve you, Dad, who I have a soul agreement and a program running to do whatever I need to do to make you love me. You know, how many have that program going on, right? So when I am claiming myself with my essence, I'm actually counteracting this momentum from these other levels of who I am, you know? So you claim your subtle bodies, you claim the different systems of your bodies. You can do it like this. You can claim the waters of your bodies, and then you can also claim the technology that is in your body. You can claim the EMF field, the EM fields that are in your body. Okay, you can claim all that for your essence. And you can do that because your essence exists way up here. It is following whole different rules of reality than what all this is. So your essence can claim it because there is no enemy. There is no enemy. Wait a minute, I go over each of the life hacks. So it's claiming your energy. Okay, it is paying close attention to how you're spending your time. If you're spending time going into the conspiracy realm, the disclosure realm, the whatever realm, and it's not good news, right? You make sure you balance. You are responsible to balance that with something, with sourcing yourself, with coming back home, okay? So you balance. You spend an hour doing that. Now you need to spend an hour breathing light into your body, remembering who you really are. That's the piece there. Really pay close attention to how you're spending your time. It's essential. And then not wasting energy trying to fight or convince other people. That's the other thing, because that's driving a lot of people nuts, because they see everybody as sheeple, right? But let me tell you, those people are just as human as you are. They are in real fear. Their feelings are real. Their suffering is real. You can't hit people when they're in that. That's not going to work, because they're going to react like you would react if someone tried to push on you when you're in a state of fear. You know what I mean? So do understand that everybody is doing the best they can. A lot of people do not have a clear perspective, and they're in the loop. They're lost in the collective field. Now, if there's an opportunity to introduce something new, you know, of course, take it if you feel like you want to take it, but don't feel like it's your mission. Well, unless all of a sudden you feel like it's your mission, like that's why you're on Earth, then, you know, hey, go take it big, take it large. You know, look what Ike's doing. I mean, he has millions of people watching his stuff, and he's like super, super passionate and inflamed and all this stuff, but people watch it anyway, right? Because it's good information. He's passionate, usually good information. Given the light of the events of what's going on, I've decided to re-offer the Dreamtime Healing Project. Because as a multidimensional being, as a creator being, you are here to bring your dreams in with the dreams of the mother. It's your responsibility. To claim your responsibility, you must claim you being wait a minute, let me say this, being a sovereign being, dreaming this world into being. You are dreaming, you're doing your part at dreaming this world into being. And as a sovereign being, we are needed more than ever to bring things forward, more options forward, what broader perspective forward, other ways of looking at things. Okay, so we are needed big time here on this planet right now, because we can dream courageously. We're not limited by the narrative, right? We are self-referencing. So because of this, I am re-offering the Dreamtime Healing Project, and we're going to start it again in May. I wasn't going to relaunch this until November, because that's the time when the sun's, everything's going darker and we're going into our hibernation mode. But I feel like everybody who can needs to step up into that courageous dreamer and taking their responsibility and manifesting this world. So I'm going to offer that again at the beginning of May. And I will post some things in the comment. I'll post some information about it. So those of you who are turned on by this, you're interested, you can find out more information. It is a 3-month commitment. And after that, you decide if it's something that you want to continue. Thanks again, everybody. We will see you next time. Bye-bye.